Here we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Wake Up Your Woo. This is my new video series where I interview amazing people who are up to interesting things. And we're talking about a few things that we don't usually cover. And today, this is definitely one of them. We're going to be talking to the beautiful Sophia Cohen. Hi, Sophia.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
So excited to dive into your topic. Sophia's from Starseed Wisdom. We're going to be talking about Starseed children, how to support them, and guiding them towards using their unique gifts. Very, very exciting. Welcome. So, Sophia, let's just talk a little bit about how you got to this place. Like, what are you up to? How did you arrive at this whole Starseed place?
Yeah, so we're creating a platform for children for alternative learning, kind of out of the box classes. It kind of happened. I've got a 6-year-old boy. He just turned 6. I know that he's always been a little bit different. He's shy, very sensitive, but has this real knowing about everything. Like ever since he was little, he would not go near somebody until he really knew who they were, knew what they were all about. And so I took him to a alternative school. And over the last few years realized that the schools weren't as alternative as I would have liked for him. And so it really got me on a path of looking at what I could actually teach him that isn't out there already. Mm-hmm. And I've kind of been on, I guess, a spiritual journey, so to speak, but really kind of delving into, talking to psychics or doing EFT or, different modalities to help myself in probably the last 11 years. And in the last few years, I know that a lot of us have woken up to lots of different things, and it's kind of just got me going on that a little bit more. But I wanted to do something for my son, because I'm like, if I knew all the things now that I'd been learning in the last few years, if I'd learned them when I was a child, like imagine where I'd be now, imagine what I'd know now, imagine what the last 2 years would have been like. I would have known what was right and wrong. I would have known what path to go on, things like that. So it was I really wanted to have that for kids so that, it doesn't exist, which they can then grow up and have that knowing as well, I suppose.
It's an interesting term, starseed children, or starseeds, because it's not just children. Obviously, people watching, you might be listening to this. And for some of you, I'm hoping this does open your eyes and you suddenly go, oh my goodness, that makes everything's clicking into place. This makes sense to me. So I want to talk about starseed children. Before we do that, I want to invite our audience to go ahead and comment what holistic modalities or alternative modalities have you tapped into over the past, 5-10 years, like you were saying. And I'm the same. And I've spent, lots of time and money and energy, supporting my body and healing my mind. And I feel like that's part of what's been able to make me so resilient or whatever over the past many years, is because I've explored that's those side of things. So go ahead and comment. What have you done? You mentioned EFT. What have you done to support yourself, your discovery and development over the past few years? We're just curious to know. Let's talk about Starseed. Like, what is that?
Yeah, so I guess I'm going to read something because it's a really good definition. But when you kind of just feel like you don't fit in, like maybe not all the time, but you're like, oh, am I supposed like am I from here? Where am I from? And for me, I didn't really have that spiritual awakening moment. It was just reading these definitions and just really knowing that it was true. And that was another reason where it came from Max as well. Like, I was reading about Starseed children, and everything that was in this paragraph about the years that he was born, I was like, oh my God, that's him. And it explains so much of, I guess, why he is like he is and where he's from and how I can support him to be like that as well. So, yeah.
Ooh, okay, let's hear it.
So, this is from an amazing lady called Sherry Divband, who is in the States, and she's already created she's creating a learning center, an in-person learning center, but she does lots of online courses already in America. And so she gave us the permission to use her definitions because they're amazing. So I just want to give her credit for that. So if you've ever come across the terms rainbow children, indigo children, crystal children, and you're like, oh, you'll just have a little inkling in your mind that will go, oh, that sounds like something I want to, read into more. So New Earth children have been coming to the planet in large masses since the year 2000. They're high vibrational or starseeds. They've been coming to the planet for decades. However, new children are exceptional. They're wise beyond their years. They come to the planet to assist with our ascension, which is, you know, us waking up, us being our own freedom, individual people. And they're here to wake up the masses with their light. So many of these children have not had past incarnations, and they come here to teach. They have little or no karma, and they don't have any lessons to learn, which is one of the things that I really found about Max. It was like, if, you know, if he gets annoyed, or we've all had a, you know, household argument or whatever, he forgets it. It's like gone, because he doesn't have those lessons to learn. We know that we've gone to healing, we get energy healing to learn to, you know, get rid of all the stuff from our past or from our past lives that are being brought up again and again in this life, which is why we've probably both gone, you know, to different healing modalities. But these children don't have that, which is really cool. So they're ascended masters, earth angels, highly advanced souls, and they're here to break down the paradigms, rebuild society, spread high frequency love all over the planet. So these children are often misunderstood because they're different. They're not like the generations before them. They have the ability to tap into their higher awareness. They're naturally spiritual because the veil between their earth body and the spirit is very thin. Many come in remembering their mission, what planets they're from, and how they can communicate with their guardian angels and spirit guides. They talk about their past lives or time traveling or different dimensions. And this can leave parents feeling lost and unable to support them because they don't know about these topics. So from the time these children are born to roughly about ages 8 to 10 is a critical time for them to feel really supported. They're looking to see what other children are doing, what they're acting like, and they're looking and seeing, feeling around the world in the same way. They pay attention to how their parents react to them when they say that they remember these past lives, or they say they can see grandma in the living room when she passed away years ago. And the reaction of their parents and peers is really important. So another thing that my son Max always tells me is that he's been to a dinosaur and dragon planet, and that on this planet there's dragons and dinosaurs that you know, are nice. They're not nasty ones. And it's like, who am I to say that that's not true? Like, you know, we all know that over the last 2 years, we actually don't know what's true and what's not true.
Yeah.
And so for me to like damper that down and say, no, that's not true. Dinosaurs only existed here. There was a, you know, something that killed them all off. You know, I'm like, great, tell me about it. And so it keeps their imagination, or whether it's imagination or a past life or whatever, it actually keeps that growing, and it doesn't damper that side of it down. So characteristics. So this is kind of, I'll go over this as quickly as possible, but these are kind of characteristics in general. So some of these years overlap a little bit, but you might be able to be like, oh yeah, that's, you know, my child's like that. So they're generalized a guideline, and these are the dates, you know, are a little bit interchangeable. So crystal children, these come into the planet in large quantities from the year 2000 to 2010. Their children are here to spread love frequency. They open our hearts with unconditional love and compassion, and they're wise beyond their years. They're non-confrontational, very forgiving. And these children rarely get into trouble because they don't want to misbehave or hurt other people's feelings. They're here to remind us to be kind to each other, to break down barriers, build bridges of togetherness and equality. They may be looked at as pushovers or super sensitive, because this is because they don't understand anger or sadness. It's not part of their makeup. They don't come from a place where there's war, hate, or greed. They will stand up for others and will likely be friends with all types of people because they're connected to their earth, crystals, and animals. And they will thrive in careers involved in conservation, species, animal care, communications, and foundations. Okay, star children. So these are children from about 2005 to 2015. So they're very highly intelligent, analytical, and initiative. So they like to understand how things work by breaking things apart, by rebuilding them like Legos, puzzles. They can take hours to rebuild their own way, as we have a room full of Lego. They come from planets and star systems that are advanced in technology, so they're here to bring that technology here. They may be introverted, but they're perfectly fine being left alone for hours to be in their own world. But they can be stubborn and headstrong. They don't like to hear no from their parents, or they need to be given reasons that they can't do something. Once they understand the reasons, then they're okay with not being able to do it. They have processing things takes a little bit longer, and they like to repeat things back to you and process things out loud. They're tapped into their higher awareness and have the ability they have the difficulty of being a young person, and they know how much more advanced and intelligent they are than the adults in their life. And so these children often get diagnosed with things like autism, Asperger's, and, you know, given the labels. But as we move into the new earth and a collective conscious awakens, there will no longer be labels for these children. They are who they are. I've got two more. So rainbow children, they came from Earth from 2012, and they're still being born. And this was another thing, like years back when I was having some readings and doing some healing, I got told Max was a rainbow child, and then I started reading about it. So they're a combination of previous groups, but they have a few more different qualities. They're the future leaders. So as crystals sweep in and open our hearts, the stars break down and rebuild, the rainbows come through to anchor us into our new way of life. They'll be the leaders in forms of medicine, education, politics, and business. They're rigid and argumentative at times, but not because they're misbehaving, because they have an expanded perspective and can often see 3 steps ahead of everybody else. They're human lie detectors, and they're extremely empathetic. They feel energy, and they have very heightened awareness. They can read a person's energy and know if they're happy or sad. They're future healers because they're good at working and manipulating energy. They're psychic, can see into other dimensions, and also these children are very headstrong and stubborn, but they're quick to apologize if they've hurt someone's feelings. They spearhead us into the new world of high density and vast knowledge that they bring into the earth. So that's where I was talking about Max, about how he knew people's energy and didn't want to be near them, like from a really, really like baby age, which was pretty amazing.
You guys comment below if any of these are resonating for you, either for yourself or for your kids. And I know we've got one more.
Yeah, just a quick one. So these are the divine children, and they've never been to Earth before. So the fact that they have only come recently, they're really high frequency. And when these children inhabit bodies, they are the Earth angels and the ascended masters. So the portal from these children came through from 2019 to 2023. And they align with the period of ascension and the great awakening that we're having here on Earth. All of these divine children have a super consciousness where they are interconnected with one another. They have an equal amount of masculine and feminine energy. They can heal instantly. They do not need pharmaceuticals like other generations. They're high vibrational, so their bodies will not be able to withstand processed foods, meats, other things. And they are truly the anchors for the ascension and hold us into the 5th dimension. Pure crystalline, extraterrestrial in their DNA, and only time will tell what their personalities will be like, because obviously they've only been coming in for the last couple of years. So yeah, those are the full definitions.
Very cool.
Jerry. Yeah,
very cool. So yeah, like I said, comment below, let us know if it resonates. Very interesting. I think, you know, a lot of people that are watching this but specifically chose this topic to watch will probably see some characteristics in their kids, which is so cool.
That whole definition is on our website as well, so that you can actually go and read through those and see if any resonate. Amazing.
I will put a link to that. I did take a few notes. I'll just put a few notes in when I post this, but you can find the rest on your website, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So I guess you've kind of answered it, but one of the next questions I wanted to ask is, how would someone be able to know or identify if their child was a starseed or if they were themselves? You pretty much just answered it, but do you want to elaborate or add anything?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of a knowing, you know, like, you know that you're a bit different, that, you know, you think a little bit differently to maybe some of your friends and family. But I guess part of our classes is that we're actually starting to run classes, and I don't know if you want to go into this now, but one of the classes is Who Am I?
Yeah.
And so your child can actually go and be in the class and have somebody that knows all about this actually tell them who they are, where they're from, and find that information out if they don't already know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's for people that have felt that, like, I don't belong. I haven't felt like I don't belong, but I've always felt like I just have this burning desire. Those are the words, like, to have a big impact on the world. And I don't mean be famous. That's not what I'm talking about. I mean, like, impact on the world. And I've always been a little perplexed as I've grown older as to why, like, I just thought everyone wanted to, like, have a massive impact, and also finding their purpose. I don't think everyone thinks about what is my purpose, why am I here? But it's like I've always been like that, trying to find that.
I've done so many different things because I'm like, oh, I want to do this. And then I'm like, oh, that's not quite right. Oh, I want to do the next thing. I mean, you've been doing your, thing for a long time. So you found your purpose. So
I don't know. I think I'm still
getting there.
Yeah, I do.
And I think part of it is probably, I had Max and then this has come up. So this is probably part of my purpose as well. I launched I didn't launch, but I made a skincare company a while back because I knew how, like, I was putting all these products on Max when he was a baby. And, I knew about organic products, but I'm like his skin was so sensitive, and what you put on your skin is more important than what you put in your body. It's your largest organ. And so I created an organic hemp-based skincare, like a whole brand, which I've never launched. But so now I'm actually teaching people how to make their own. And so kids can learn as well what they put on their, nothing to do with Starseeds. It's just to do with, extra sensitive kids, which so many kids are nowadays. But what they put on their bodies is important to what they put in it. And they can actually learn to make their own. So, they're self-sufficient. They know what's right, what ingredients can do to them, what they can't. So not only are we offering more, woo-woo and spiritual classes, we're also offering, common sense and learning about organic and things like that classes.
So is this, with the course, is this like an add-on? So some of them will homeschool, some of them won't. So this isn't school, this is an add-on, like it's a course or a program. How long is it for?
So we've got taster classes that are this year.
Right.
And so they're for 1 or 2 weeks. And then into the next year, we're going to do 4-week courses. So it'll be 1 class a week, so an hour a week. So this is in addition to anything else that you might be learning at school or homeschooling.
Okay, an hour a week on Zoom or some platform online. Okay, awesome. So you guys, if you want to find out about that, especially depending on when you're watching this, we are filming right now at the end of November in 2022. So you've got these taster classes coming up. So we'll put the links below straight away so you guys can find about that. And if you're watching this later on, then you can always go to the website and find the courses.
Okay. All of them will be on the website, whether they're now or later, they will be updated all the time.
Amazing. And we are in Auckland, and I know people will be wondering, are you going to do anything in person? So
yeah, absolutely. So the idea is that to start with, we want to be able to cater for everyone in New Zealand. So if anyone wants to come to any of the classes, then we're starting online so that we can do that. And then as it grows, I think we'll find little groups of people that are all in the same place and tutors that are in the same place as well. So then we can offer in-person classes too.
Awesome. And I know a lot of the audience also will not be living in New Zealand. So jumping on, making sure the time zone works and jumping on the classes would be good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So I'd love to know, like, what for you in your journey in the past couple of years, especially with the Starseed, how has this helped your parenting experience, knowing or understanding Max better? Yeah.
So again, just like, when he tells you stories about things that you don't immediately want to go, oh no, that's not true. This is actually what happened from what I learned from school. So, really asking him about that and asking him what happened there and really, getting into his vision of it. And he was, he got into Star Wars because he's got some older half brothers. And so now he talks about the Force a lot, which is all energy based, and so he wants to be able to move things like they do in Star Wars. And I'm like, hey, maybe you can't do it now, but maybe you will be able to do it in the future. And so it's, I don't say to him, no, that's not possible. Like, I can't do it, but, I do know that some people can. So it's like, maybe you'll be able to do that when you get a little bit older, as opposed to saying, no, we can't move things with our energy and our minds. And so really, trying to, everything that he tells me isn't necessarily, no, that's not right.
Yeah, like you're open to it.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting too. I originally, I don't know if I started off as a parenting author. So 8 years ago or something, I published my book, which was called If Only They Told Me. I had a podcast, 200 episodes. So I'm very into parenting. And of course, we never talked about Starseeds back then, but I think now it just opens people's eyes wider. And, a lot of people say, oh, my child's like very shy. And I'm always intrigued by the word shy, because I'm like, I kind of go, shy is not a thing.
Yeah.
It's just that we don't understand them. We're not speaking to them in a way that they get. But I think also the super sensitivity. Oh, she's just really shy. Oh, she's just really sensitive. It's like, well, maybe they're a Starseed child and maybe they actually can feel other people's energy more. And they really are in touch with their intuition in terms of who to trust. And, and making decisions, or you'd be like, oh, my child, like even mine, you might be like, oh, he's quite headstrong, like he's quite bossy, like he knows. Even I said it this morning to my daughter, I'm like, oh, like he knows what he wants. He's a man who knows what he wants. Well, guess what? He's like stubborn and headstrong. Yes. The Lego thing, yes, taking longer to process, like, dyslexia, he's got dyslexia, right? So it's like, oh, interesting. It just, I think, hopefully, I'm hoping from this episode, it just opens people's eyes to not judging, and like you said, not labeling the children or ourselves, but really understanding each other better, so that we can judge each other less, and we can parent and support that child to like you wanted to do, towards using their gifts and abilities.
Yeah, to who they really are. It's like, we have all these, I homeschool Max now, but it's like you have all these homeschool groups, but him going to a homeschool group with 10 other kids, like he goes inwards because he can't handle everyone's energy. He doesn't enjoy it. And so it's like, well, I just don't take him to them anymore. And I just have him do one-on-one play dates with other people, because that's what is better for him. And so it's like, people are like, oh, but what about his social skills? I mean, he's got great social skills. It's just that his energy can't handle all those people being around him one time. It's too much for him. So you just realize that those are just his traits. It's not right or wrong. It's just who he is.
And I think even older than that, like people that are our age, I run these networking events, 40 people in the room. And I've got a couple of friends who I'll message and I'll say, hey, hun, I know this isn't really your thing, but if you want to get together with about, 6 or 7 other amazing women and who I'm really keen to connect you with. So I will literally, because I'm a super connector, but I know that they won't like the networking event. They'll be like their worst nightmare. So it's like, hey, are you open to having like a small lunch with just 5 other awesome women who I'm keen to connect you with? And they're like, yeah, I'm in. Which is totally different energy, but it's really, I get how, I'm not like that. Like, give me a room of 1,000 people any day, but I understand that not everyone, it feels comfortable, or it can really, it's a lot of energy, especially those empaths. It's a lot of energy coming at them. So just tailoring the environment like you do for your son, for other people in our life, and not judging them, but it's like, okay, how can I still create a cool experience that will serve you?
And I'm fortunate enough that I've been able to now homeschool Max, which I never ever thought I would do. But I was like, no way am I ever going to be able to homeschool him. But I think school was a bit much for him as well. Like the kindy that he was going to, there's 30 kids in the class, and he would come home exhausted just because of all of the energy that was around him all day. So you just, do what you can for your kids.
You do what you can for your kids. And that's what we're doing today, is we're just basically opening the dialogue around the Starseed children and the wisdom, Starseed wisdom. So before we wrap up, is there anything else you want to add, and how can people find and follow you?
So we've got some taster classes coming in the next couple of weeks. So we've got skincare, how to manage your energy, talking about your team and spirits, talking about your aura and knowing what color your aura is, and how to be able to deal with your energy, and how to be able to protect yourself from all of the energy as well, which is a really important thing for us to teach our kids at an early age too. I mean, you can teach them at any age, but how they're able to protect their energy, like put themselves in a little bubble so they're not affected by all the other people around them. So learning that really young is really important. So we've got classes coming up in the next few weeks, and then next year we'll have many more classes. I've got like a long list of about 30 or 40 mentors that want to come on and teach kids. And then we'll also do adult classes next year, and we'll also do parent and child classes together, so that they can come together and find out about themselves together as well, so that they can learn together. So you'll find us on Starseed Wisdom, Starseeds with an S, wisdom.com or .co.nz, and they both go to the same place. And we're not on any social, just Telegram at the moment. So it's just a Telegram channel called Starseed Wisdom.
All right, I will put the links, I'll put the links below. And this is awesome because you're just starting. And I think, like you said, people will be like, oh my goodness, I want to be part of it, or I want to learn, or I want to teach, and it's just going to grow.
So I'll come back next year and we'll have another chat.
Yes.
About what everyone wants to know about.
Yeah.
Find out what they need, and
and hear some stories, because when people start to learn this stuff, it can change the way they're living their life, which is awesome. Thank you so much, Sophia.
No worries. Thanks
awesome
for having
to see you. Thank you guys for joining us today on Wake Up Your Woo. By the way, you mentioned energy. I did an episode with Anna Neal, and we talked a lot about energy is everything. There's about 6 other episodes that are up at the moment, you guys, including the People's Health Alliance and others. So definitely check them out. You can check out my website, upyourbrave.com, and you can check out Wake Up Your Woo on Rumble. If you want a wake up hat or essential oils, get in touch. Also, Super Connections, if you want to connect with other amazing people, that is my jam. Get in touch with me for connections, collaborations, and courage. Until next time, you guys, wake up your woo. See you later.